What's up, everybody? It's your boy Jerome, and I'm back finally with the Married to Medicine review. A big fuck you to Bravo, because this shit has been off since before Christmas, and that was 2 weeks ago. So again, almost 2 weeks ago, but again, fuck you to Bravo. I don't know what Bravo's whole MO is with Married to Medicine, because they take Married to Medicine off of on Friday. They take it from Sunday to Saturday to Friday back to Sunday again. So I don't know what Bravo is doing with this. So let's get into the show, the reunion part 2. So it basically picked up where it left off at, with Mariah accusing Quad of sleeping with her brother-in-law, and Quad accusing Mariah of doing drugs. So then we see Aiden. He's on the side where the camera crew are, and they notice him and how he was looking at Quad, and Heavenly is like, somebody needs to get Aiden, because Aiden is not looking at how he's looking at Quad. And Mariah's like, my husband, he's here to defend me, so he can be here. And I really don't know how I feel about that. I don't think that Aiden should have came out there. I definitely don't 100% agree he should have came out there, but with those allegations, though, they were throwing allegations at each other that were slanderous. And if Mariah saying that Quad slept with her brother-in-law, but the biggest one was the fact that Quad said that she was did drugs. I'm like, God damn, that's attacking this woman and her husband, who is a physician. If anybody hears that and sees that, and they say, oh, well, it's been accused that your wife has done drugs, we need to do a drug test on you. That could destroy his career. So I kind of see where Aiden came from. So things got so heated that Andy had to, say, let's take a break from this. So they all took a break. And then, we see Aiden in the dressing room with Mariah, and Mama Lucy's in there, and Dr. Jared is in there too. And he's just going off about how she was homeless, he paid her bills, and this and that. And then, we have Quad in her dressing room talking about what happened. I think she said the gloves are off at this point. Then, we got Toya and Jackie. Jackie is not in agreement with what happened. And Toya's like, Quad and Heavenly are both being pit bulls. Then we got contestant Dr. Scott in their dressing room. And, they talking about the receipts that Mariah supposedly has, which nobody believes that Mariah had the receipts. So, that's pretty much it for right there. All right, so then they come back from the break. So Andy asked all the ladies, did anybody see Mariah's supposed receipts? So nobody has saw these receipts. So then Andy asked, Toya, did you see the receipts? And Toya said, no, I didn't see it, but Mariah did insinuate it. And I'm like, Toya, just say no, that you did not see the fucking receipts. That's all Andy asked you. Did you see the receipts? So, then we talk about how, Mariah doesn't want Heavenly to talk about her mama. But then you got Mariah talking about Dr. Heavenly's husband. And, Mariah's whole thing is that she did that to give Heavenly basically a taste of her own medicine. Since we're going to talk about my mama, I'm going to talk about your husband. Kind of an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Some stuff like that. And I think it's petty and childish at the same time. So because she says your mama, you going to attack her with something that is possibly not true, that her husband cheated on her. And then, you got the men backstage watching, and Damon is like, well, why did you drag me into it? I've done nothing to you, Mariah. And I definitely agree with Dr. Damon. Damon is not a part of this beef with Heavenly and Mariah. This is solely between Mariah and Heavenly. So, Heavenly should stop talking about Mariah's mom, saying your mama, even though Heavenly saying your mama was not nearly as bad as what, Marlo said about, what's her name? Shamari's mama, calling her a bitch. So, whatever. But I don't think that Heavenly should continue to mention Mariah's mama when she's done nothing to her this season that we saw. But, Mariah always goes on her lives and talks after the show. And I'm like, shit, bitch, you talk forever on these damn lives. I'm like, who the fuck has the time to sit here and watch Mariah Huck talk for an hour about Heavenly, Quad, and the show? I don't. So then, Andy says, well, Heavenly, when it comes down to you, she understands why Mariah doesn't want her to say your mama, and she says it just basically slips out. And I'm like, okay, I can give her that. But Andy made a valid point. When it comes to Contessa, she stopped calling her Contessa. She said, yeah, I stopped calling her that because I respect her because she's a respected physician. So Andy said, so let me understand this correctly. You stopped calling her Contessa because you respect her. So is it safe to say that you don't respect Mariah? She says, yeah, I don't respect her. And I can't fault Heavenly at all for saying that shit. So, Andy asked them, are they going to be done with, I guess they're going back and forth with one another. And Mariah says she's done and Heavenly says she's done. So hopefully they are done and we do not come into season 7 with the same bullshit. Like, at least be in the same room with each other, say hi and bye, and that be it. Don't have a conversation past that shit, because I don't want to talk about that for another season. All right, so then we had this little lighthearted scene talking about the shade of the group. So, they show the shadiest moments of the season. Andy asked him who's the shadiest person in the group. Some of them say Jackie, some of them says Mariah. I, however, agree that it is Jackie that is the shadiest of them all. Because Jackie comes at you with that sophisticated shade, was like, bitch, did you just shade me in a classy, educated way? Yeah, you just shaded me, ho. So then Andy asked him about the impersonations that everybody did. Contessa, she liked the impersonation that Mariah did of her. Toya felt like the impersonation that Heavenly did. She doesn't talk about money. Yeah, you don't talk about money because your ass was in IRS debt. So, but you do talk about having parties and bullshit. So yeah, whatever. Andy asked Heavenly how did she feel about Simone's impersonation first. She liked Simone's impersonation of her. But she's talking about the outfit that she had on was ugly, I guess, or something. Then they had a little back and forth with one another. It wasn't really much. Then, Annie brings up some sex toys. They talk about how Quad has a drawer full of sex toys. She talks about her sex toys. And then Toya talks about this sex pillow. And I'm like, what? A sex pillow? Bye, Toya. Go to sleep. Go to bed. Take a nap. Take a siesta. Do something. Because, yeah, whatever. So then we see backstage. So what they did in this part of the reunion, I think they did this in the first part too. So, they had the women on stage, but then they would also show the men backstage watching the women on stage talking. And the men's faces was just like, oh my God, like, what the fuck? And then, we see Greg with the men, and, he's saying how he knows that Quad is going to defend herself against him. And, he basically said that him going to that hotel room last year was in retaliation to Quad, him not getting what he wanted. And basically, we all know what Gregory wants. Greg wants a family. Greg also wants a beard too, but that's not my business. I didn't mean to go there because he gave me those vibes. I'm just saying. So now we're gonna move over to the next stage. So yeah, wait a minute. This dude just set this car on fire. Yeah, y'all. Nope. If y'all watch my Atlanta review and I asked about Dirty John, I am watching some clips of it from tonight. It looks good. So yes, I am definitely going to watch Dirty John. So we come back from the commercial break. So Andy is talking to Quad. So he's talking about last year's reunion, how he asked her, did she feel like leaving that reunion that her marriage would be in a better space and if it would be fixed. She says no, that she didn't feel that way. And, she says, well, he says, so basically what happened between the reunion and the beginning of filming of this season. And she says that her marriage went to a dark place, which I'm not surprised that it went to a dark place. Like, we all can see you never really wanted Greg. And now that you've gotten, you are on this show, you've gotten Sister Circle Live, which I think is a crock of bullshit. You feel like you don't need him anymore. And that's just how I feel about it. Anybody who likes Quad and disagrees, we can agree to disagree, but that's just how I personally feel. So, Simone starts talking about her relationship with Quad, how over the last few years it's gotten distant, which Quad did, admit to that. And, Simone says that when they were at that crawfish broil that they had earlier in the season, that when she told Quad to catch us up It wasn't necessarily her saying catch us up on your marriage. It was just catch us up on what's going on in your life. Like, tell us what's going on with you in Sister Circle Live. Tell us what's going on in your business endeavors. Just catch us up on your life. You don't have to necessarily tell us about, your marriage. Because, Simone was like, since if you feel like we're not that type of friends where you don't want to tell me stuff, that's cool. I get that. And she also says that they, like I said, they've grown apart over the last few years. And, Quan says that Simone's body language was off-putting, which Simone says, what, yeah, I had a bad attitude. So yes, my body language was not the best. And, Quan then says how she didn't feel like the ladies gathered around her last season at the reunion, much like they did around Simone. And Jackie looked at Quan like, are you serious? And, she said, I see you, Jackie. And so Andy asked Jackie, how she felt about that. And Jackie says, she was not in supportive of it because she felt like it was a toxic relationship on both Quad and Dr. Gregory's, behalf. So she definitely wasn't going to support a toxic relationship, which Quad said, what, I definitely do understand that. And, she just says how she doesn't feel like the ladies are warm to her. She said there are some that she feels that way toward, that she feels are warm towards her. And, Simone starts saying something. And then Andy brings up the fact that at the crawfish boil again, Simone said that Quad thinks that she's better than all the ladies in the group. So then Simone says, well, the reason why I said that was because Quad has said to some of the ladies that she is the star of the show. And, Quad says, well, we all bring something to the show. And I absolutely do believe that Quad feels like she is the star of Married to Medicine. That's why I feel like at the beginning of the season, Quad did not film with the women because she felt like she was above those women and she was above the show. But, and I know at one point, Sister Circle Live did not know if they were going to get a season 2. So I think around this time, when we started to see them, that's when Quad got a little bit humble because she didn't know the state of Sister Circle Live. Because once again, that show is not the best show on television for daytime talk. Not at all. It's not The View. It's not The Talk. It's not even The Real. And it took me a few years to even, because sometimes I will watch The Real, but it took me a long time to even get into that show. Entertainment, when I got into that show, was after Tamar left. Just to be honest with you. And then, so let's just get off this just get off the reunion just for a little bit and talk about Sister Circle Live. Because I was off work on Friday. I had to pay my rent. So I had to take off work on Friday. So like I've said before, I watch I watch all the soap operas that are still on. I don't watch The Bold and the Beautiful. I watched The Young and the Restless. Actually, I need to get caught up on that because I haven't watched it in some months. Young and the Restless, Days of Our Lives, and General Hospital. So in Texas, and specifically in Dallas, because I don't know what it's like in my hometown of Tyler, but I know here in Dallas, when General Hospital goes off here at 1 o'clock, that's when Sister Circle Live comes on. So sometimes I'll just leave it sitting on Sister Circle Live and just let it play through until the show that comes on after, which is Daily Blast Live, comes on with Jeff Schroeder, Ebony Steele, some other people. So, Friday I was at home, like I said, and I think I was in my bathroom doing something. Maybe, I think I was shaving. I'm just going deep into my life. So, Sister Circle Live came on. So I'll tell you, the only person on the show that I really truly like is Rashawn Ali. I think Rashawn Ali is down to earth. Trina, God, the only thing that annoys me with Trina is I'm Trina Braxton. That shit gets on my nerves. Like, what the fuck is that? And Quad and her, to me, Quad is an actress. I just got to put it out there. I got to call a spade a spade. I think Quad is a actress. But, so and then, Andy mentions, I thought Carrie was the star of the show. Nigga, you tried that one. But like I said, I can see how they feel that way, that Quad thinks she's the star of the show, because I definitely 100% believe Quad thinks she's the star of the show. But she says that after the ladies mentioned that to her, she stopped saying it, but I don't believe that shit for 1 minute. So then, so Toya, I don't know if she was trying to take up for Dr. Gregory, but she says what I just said a few minutes ago, that any man who, And what Gregory basically, she said what Gregory said. He wasn't getting what he wanted at home, so he strayed. Which that doesn't give him a good excuse or a good reason to do what he did. If you feel that way about your marriage, tell your wife how you feel, which he told her for years that he wants kids. When you realize that you two were not on the same page, that's when you say, you know what, Quad, I love you enough to let you go, do what you want to do, and I got to go do what I want to do. And what I want is a family. So, girl, I know they don't have Ronnie on here with these sunglasses on and Shamari and his wig on Watch What Happens Live look a hot fucking mess. And then, oh God, it is shit. And he did shave his face. Oh my God. That nigga really ain't got no eyebrows. Oh my God. Okay, so then we move over to the whole fact that Toya's saying about when it comes to the couples trip, she doesn't want Quad to come. Quad says that she thinks it's ridiculous, that, you know, she can learn something from the others. And Toya's like, what can you learn from us? Like, I don't want you around my husband. And she's like, well, I don't want to be around your husband. So Jackie says that she doesn't agree with what Toya said. So I'm going to play devil's advocate because I can see both sides of the spectrum. I definitely can see, and I hate to say that I see where Toya's coming from. So when it comes to a couples trip and there's a single person on the trip, so say that, you know, you split the couples up to do a day activity. So say you have Dr. Jackie, Dr. Contessa, Dr. Heavenly, and Simone, and their husbands doing one event. And then you got Quad, Mariah, and Toya doing an event by themselves. That would be kind of odd because there's an odd man out. There's a third wheel. So, you know, I get where she came from with that one. But then I also get Jackie's whole standpoint. Jackie is like, you know, Simone did her vow renewal on the beach on a couples trip. And, you know, she's friends with Simone and she would not have wanted to miss out on that. And then Toya's like, but you was married. You were married. You weren't going through a divorce. Now, if Quad, you know, calls up for divorce, then sure, she can come. So, you know, like I said, I see both sides. And I hate to say I see both sides, especially when it comes down to Toya. So then Andy asked Quad if she will remarry. And Quad gave some kind of answer. I don't know if she was saying she would or she wouldn't. I don't really give a fuck, to be quite honest. I don't give a fuck, a damn, or a shit, to be quite honest with you. Let's move on. All right, so then we move over to the men. Do you think Cynthia is moving too fast with Mike? Hell fucking yes. Cynthia is moving too fast with Mike. Oh, no. Yes, Cynthia's moving way too fast with Mike. I think Cynthia's acting like a fucking schoolgirl with Mike. Like, the fuck? Okay, so next we have the men. So the men come out and have a conversation with Andy. And, you know, first of all, what the fuck did Dr. Scott have on? That shit was horrible. So, you know, Andy asked, how was it for Greg watching his season, seeing the men and the couples with Quad and not interacting with him very much. And Greg, you know, said that it was kind of odd for him, which I can imagine that it was kind of hard for him to see that. And, you know, Andy asked Cecil how he and Simone right now. He says that he and Simone are, you know, they're in a good space. They're on a good track. They're listening to one another, which that's good because Simone, her big loudmouth ass, she only listens to herself. And, you know, Cecil thanks Andy for, you know, what he did last year at the reunion. You know, Andy asked Jack Curtis about, is Jackie charting less? He said it's getting better, which that's a good thing. I never expected for Jackie to slow down on the charting, but, you know, slow but steady, and I think that's good. So then Andy asked Aiden, you know, so all the men say that you are a snitch when it comes to Mariah. He said, why is that? And he said, you know, well, I don't have any secrets when it comes to, I don't lie to my wife. So then, you know, Andy talks about the men getting over things as opposed to women, which we see it. The men, they do argue with each other, but as far as their beef, they can overcome their beef quickly. But the women, they sit and let it fester and talk to the other girls about it, and then it just gets blown out of proportion. And so then you know, Damon says that because they were talking about well, Damon says he was hurt about the things that Mariah said, which I understand that because he hasn't done anything to Mariah, so I definitely get it. And then Aiden says that well, my wife was dragged into it, so she just pulled you into it. I do not think that's right at all for Mariah to talk about Aiden not Aiden, but Damon when he's done nothing to her. And this goes back to she don't want Heavenly to say her mama. Don't mention that woman's husband. Like, it's just that simple. So Eugene says he just doesn't believe that he cheated on her, which I actually don't believe it either, because I just can't see nobody wanting to sleep with him besides Heavenly. No offense, but I just don't see it. So then they talk about Dr. Scott stepping into uncharted territory, basically jumping into the women's business. And Dr. Scott was defending his wife, so I definitely don't see anything wrong with that. And Cecil's like, he was hoping that on that boat ride that Simone would just kind of be calm and not get rowdy like she always does. But unfortunately, that shit did not happen. So then Andy asked, Dr. Dame, he asked them also a question about, what were they thinking when Heavenly had that microphone in Antigua. And he said, I think it was Curtis that said, well, it couldn't have got any worse. Also, I need to backtrack because I actually thought when I said Antigua, I remember something that I left out. So back when they were talking to the women, they were talking about the Antigua trip and when Mariah broke the flute. So Simone was kind of defending Mariah, saying that she didn't feel like Mariah was going to do anything to her, but that was kind of Mariah's way of saying back. And Mariah apologized for it. So we'll move. Oh my God. I can see Shamari's whole fucking wig on Watch What Happens Live. That wig does not have any edge or nothing. It ain't been plucked. It ain't been nothing. Like, you can just see the whole wig. It's just sitting right there. Like, the wig is just sitting. The wig is sitting. Oh my God, the wig is sitting. Oh my God. Shamari should be embarrassed about herself. That wig is sitting. Whew. All right. So the last part of this episode, so the men leave, and now we are going to move into things with to Greg and Quad. So Andy. So before we get into that, Andy asked Greg if he left the reunion last year, thinking that his marriage could be saved, and Greg says yes. So and he says that he wanted his marriage, but then we see Quad in the back saying he never tried to work on it. And going back to I don't know if I really said it, but so Andy was asking the men that they feel like they were picking sides with when it came down to Greg and Quad. Who said no? Who was it that said no? I think it was Curtis who said no. They didn't feel like it. But Aiden and Cecil definitely felt like it. They felt like they were picking sides because of the fact that when it came down to them having parties, with the finale party and the trip, and even Eugene felt like they all picked sides because they picked Quad's side over Gregory's, which that is true. So then oh shit, I caught myself up. So then Toya asked Quad, would she have come to the reunion, not the reunion, but to the to anything, I guess, basically, if Greg was there. And she was shaking her head no. And then she was talking about how, the divorce is in a bad place right now, how everything is bad. And so Andy asked Greg, what does he want with this whole conversation with Quad? And in a nutshell, he says he wants peace. So then we see the men leaving, and then we get Greg and Quad. And so that's where we're going to lead into with part 3 of the reunion, which I don't know when part 3 of the reunion is going to air. It's up to Bravo. It could air this Friday. It could air next Saturday. It could air next Sunday. I just don't fucking know, and I'm tired of playing a guessing game with this reunion. So whenever part 3 of the reunion airs, I will be back on camera to give part 3 of the reunion. So like the video, leave your comments, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys later.